Now, typically during Gamescom, most of my time is spent hurriedly hot-footing it between different parts of the enormous convention centre, having minimal time to digest what it is I'm seeing or playing before braving the stench of the gamer mass between appointments. So I was incredibly thankful that I had the opportunity to sit down and play Hell Is Us for a full hour in a calm oasis-like lounge behind closed doors, away from the prying eyes of the filthy public. That's you guys. Hell Is Us had a new trailer release as part of the recent PlayStation State of Play broadcast, and it seems to have piqued many people's interest, from its bizarre horror-esque creatures and seemingly Souls-like look about it. But what's it all about? Well, having played it for an extended period, I can honestly say I've no fucking idea. And maybe that's good. The setup is strange, there's a mishmash of themes and tones jostling for position, and the gameplay completely took me off guard, as at the time I had no idea what to expect. The rough story is that you've joined a peacekeeping UN-style force to gain entry to a fictional closed country, as it's reported civil war has broken out and it's basically all kicked off in there. The reason being that the main character is actually from this country originally, having left many years ago, and is looking for a way back in to locate the whereabouts of his family. And that's where the gameplay starts. I shuffled through a rainy forest, stumbling upon bits and bobs looking for clues as to where to go or how to start my journey. And that's actually an interesting facet of the narrative here, that as the player, you will never know something that the main character doesn't, and vice versa. This might seem simple and standard, but realistically, as a player, often a game will tell you where to go or what to do, because, you know, it's a video game. But in Hell Is Us, you really are playing as the main character, and anything he doesn't know, you don't know either. So after talking to a farmer of some kind and looking through my logbook to figure out where I might need to go to get more information on what's been going on in this country, I stumble upon a giant tomb-like entrance of some kind with some peacekeeping soldiers all smashed up outside. One of them offers me a key to enter the tomb in return for a medkit, which I oblige, and exploration of the tomb begins. Why am I exploring this tomb? What the devil is going on? Yep, still no idea. At some point during my exploration, which includes some light environmental puzzling, I am set upon by an extremely angry red pulsating cube being whipped around by a pale zombie-looking horror. Huh? Luckily, an unknown lad steps in to battle the creature for me, wielding what appears to be a magical broadsword and accompanied by a drone wearing what's described as a tactical poncho. It's at this point, with my brow furrowed, I'm looking around the calm lounge, having removed my headphones, to find some sort of developer or producer to assist me with what the hell it is I'm supposed to be seeing. Confusion has fully set in, and I simply have no idea what kind of game this is supposed to be anymore. But finding no one to help, I push on. The lad in the paunch perishes in some sort of trade kill with the creature, and I don his attire, pick up his sword, and decide, I'll have a crack then, as a few more pale demon zombies lurk in the shadows. Personally, this seems like an absolutely bizarre decision for the main character to make, but not only does he seem fine with it, he also seems perfectly capable of wielding a magic sword, and in fact shows great prowess. The game introduces the combat loop at this stage, and it's very much of the action RPG style. There are a few different nuances to it which borrow from a few games of the genre, including a rhythmical pulse mechanic to restore your own health after striking an enemy, requiring the player to correctly time a shoulder button after you connect a blow, akin to the key pulse mechanic from Nioh. There's different combos to achieve, and your poncho drone can be deployed to distract or blind enemies, allowing you to deal with groups of the pale zombie lads one by one. I didn't have a huge amount of time to dive into the full mechanics of the combat system, but I managed to discover a few different archetypes of weapon, and I believe upgrading weapons, discovering new skills for you and your drone, as well as equipping different items and armor is all part of the experience, as you'd expect from what is now apparently an action RPG of some kind. Bear in mind I had no idea what the game was I was about to play in this session, as it was all under NDA, and the first 30 minutes of my session seemed to indicate it was some sort of story-driven third-person shooter perhaps. Anyway, after pressing on through the tomb, fighting more pale demons and facing off against another cube wielder, who in fact felled me a few times, meaning I had to reset at a checkpoint, consequently respawning all the enemies, a la Souls, I'm presented with an open world of sorts, now free to explore and follow any threads I find pertaining to the mystery of what's happening in this country and how to find my family. I mucked about a bit, yomping around the countryside again, coming up against all manner of pale demons, occasionally finding some peacekeeping forces and natives of the country giving me tidbits of information around what's going on. But sadly, my session had drawn to a close. I'd played an hour or so of Hell Is Us in the quiet oasis of calm in the Gamescom of chaos, and had to hurry to the next engagement. But before I left, I managed to collar a nice man because I just simply had so many questions about what it is I just played. I can't remember what he was called. Let's call him Terry. Terry explained to me that there are many mysteries and threads to uncover surrounding the world of Hell Is Us, and that there's a reason the character you play seems absolutely at ease with wielding magical weapons and fighting pale demon creatures, but of course he would reveal no more. One thing I quizzed him about is that during the character death sequence before respawning, you are shown a black screen with the faint sound of a lie detector machine whirring and beeping in the background. I asked Terry what significance this holds, and he simply folded his arms, gave a nod to a nearby Gamescom heavy, and I was removed from the room immediately. That's a lie, but you know, it would have been cool. All in all, I'm definitely keen on playing more of this. It was a bizarre experience and throws a lot of themes at you very quickly, some of which don't seem to make much sense at all, but perhaps that's the point. Also, I now definitely want to own my own tactical poncho. Hell is Us is releasing sometime in 2025, so we've a while to wait to find out more. Until then, take care of yourselves.